Okay, everyone, buckle up, because today we are diving deep into the world of dogs.
Woof woof.
You guys sent in some really interesting stuff, and we're going to cover it all.
We've got history, we've got biology, even some insights into how dogs think.
So if you think you know everything about man's best friend, think again.
By the end, you'll be dropping dog facts that will blow everyone's mind.
So to kick things off, let's talk about how dogs became our best buds in the first place.
Ah, yes, the age-old question of where and when dogs were first domesticated.
Right, because it's not like we have written records from that long ago.
Exactly. For a long time, the thinking was that dogs were domesticated once, maybe around 15,000 years ago, somewhere in Eurasia.
Which would still be incredible, 15,000 years. It's hard to even imagine that much time.
I know, right? But hold on to your hats, because recent genetic studies are turning that idea upside down.
Ooh, this is where it gets interesting. I love when science shakes things up.
So now some scientists are proposing that dogs may have been domesticated multiple times in different parts of the world.
Like different groups of people forming bonds with different wolf populations.
Exactly. And get this, some studies suggest it could have happened even earlier than 15,000 years ago.
Wow. So the timeline keeps getting pushed back further and further. It really shows just how long we've been connected to these animals.
It's incredible, right? It makes you wonder what those early interactions were like.
And think about this. Dogs were domesticated before humans even figured out agriculture.
That's a really good point. What does that tell us about the role dogs played in those early human societies?
Well, it must have been about more than just practical tasks like herding or hunting.
Right. These early dogs, they were companions, they were protectors, they were probably crucial for survival.
Imagine you're part of a nomadic group navigating a world full of dangers, and you have these loyal, intelligent animals by your side.
It makes you realize just how strong that bond must have been right from the start.
It's like they became an extension of the family, even back then. Okay, so we know dogs have been with us for a long time, but what makes them so special? Let's dive into some of the things that make dogs unique, like their senses.
Oh, yes, dogs' senses are incredible and they experience the world so differently from us.
I mean, everyone knows about their sense of smell. It's legendary. But how much better is their sense of smell than ours, really?
Well, let's just say it's not even a fair comparison. It's like comparing a supercomputer to an abacus.
Okay, so you're saying it's a lot better.
A lot better. Dogs have hundreds of millions of olfactory receptors in their noses.
Hundreds of millions. And how many do we have?
A measly few million.
Wow, so it's no wonder they can sniff out things we can't even imagine.
Exactly. They're detecting subtle changes in scent that we're completely oblivious to.
I've always wondered about those scent tracking dogs, the ones that can follow a trail that's days old.
Oh, yeah, those bloodhounds are incredible. They can distinguish between thousands of different scents.
It just seems like magic. But it's not magic, it's science.
Right. And we're just beginning to tap into the potential of that science. Think about search and rescue finding missing people.
Detecting illegal substances or even diseases.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about dogs being able to smell cancer?
Yes. There's ongoing research showing that dogs can detect certain types of cancer by smelling a person's breath or urine.
That's incredible. Imagine being able to diagnose cancer that early.
It's groundbreaking stuff, and it really highlights how much we can learn from dogs and their amazing noses.
It makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden in those sniffs.
It's a whole other world of information that we're just beginning to understand.
Okay, so their sense of smell is mind-blowing. But what about their vision? I've heard people say that dogs see in black and white.
Yeah, that's a common myth, actually. Dogs do see color, just not as many colors as we do.
So what colors can they see?
Their vision is kind of like a limited color palette. Think mostly blues, yellows, and grays.
Interesting. So they're not totally colorblind, but they don't see the world as vibrantly as we do.
Right, but they have other superpowers in the vision department.
Oh, like what?
Well, for starters, they're amazing at seeing in low light, much better than humans.
Makes sense. They were probably out hunting at dawn and dusk when light is scarce.
Exactly. And they're also really good at detecting motion.
So it's like they traded some color detail for better night vision and motion tracking.
Exactly. And those abilities were probably crucial for survival in the wild.
Now, I want to talk about dog intelligence because I think sometimes we underestimate how smart they really are.
Oh, absolutely. Dogs are incredibly intelligent, but their intelligence is often different from our own.
Right, like you can't exactly give a dog an IQ test.
Exactly. And that leads to some pretty big myths about dog intelligence.
Like, what's the biggest myth you hear?
The idea that there's one smartest breed of dog.
Ah, yes, the age-old debate of which breed reigns supreme.
But the truth is, dog intelligence is much more nuanced than that.
So it's not about a single measure of intelligence, it's about different types of intelligence.
Exactly. Different breeds have been bred for different tasks over centuries, so they excel in different areas.
So like a border collie might be a genius at herding sheep,
Right. And a bloodhound might be a master scent tracker.
but a bloodhound might not be so good at herding sheep.
Probably not their forte.
It's like saying a mathematician is smarter than a musician. They're both intelligent, but in different ways.
Exactly. And that's what makes dogs so fascinating. They have such a diverse range of talents.
What's a cool example of dog intelligence that you've come across?
Well, there was a study where researchers tested dogs' ability to understand human gestures.
Like pointing?
Right. But they went beyond pointing. They tried pointing with elbows, feet, even their noses.
And the dogs could still understand.
Yep. They were able to find the hidden treat based on those unconventional gestures.
Wow, that's incredible. It shows they're not just responding to a specific body part, they're actually understanding the intention behind the gesture.
Exactly. It suggests a much deeper level of cognitive ability than we previously thought,
It makes you realize we still have so much to learn about how their minds work.
and how they perceive the world around them.
Okay, let's get into a topic that always sparks debate. Emotions. Do dogs really have feelings like happiness, sadness, or even empathy?
It's a complex question, and we can't ask dogs directly, but there's a growing body of research that suggests they do experience emotions.
Like what kind of research?
Well, for example, brain imaging studies have shown that dogs' reward centers light up when they see their owners.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like in humans when we experience joy.
Exactly. It suggests that those tail wags and excited greetings aren't just instinctive behaviors, they're actually expressions of genuine happiness.
That's heartwarming to know. But I do worry sometimes about anthropomorphism, projecting our own feelings onto our dogs.
It's a valid concern. We shouldn't assume that dogs experience emotions in the exact same way humans do.
So how do we find that balance between recognizing their emotions and avoiding overinterpretation?
I think it's about respecting their unique perspective, acknowledging their feelings without trying to fit them into a human mold.
So we can appreciate their joy without assuming they're thinking about it in the same way we would.
Exactly. It's about celebrating their differences and the amazing complexity of their inner lives.
Now, we've talked about how amazing dogs are, but their ability to help humans goes far beyond companionship,
Absolutely. We often think of guide dogs for the visually impaired,
which are incredible, of course. Those dogs are true heroes.
but there are so many other ways dogs contribute to our lives.
Like therapy dogs.
Yes, therapy dogs provide incredible emotional support to people facing all sorts of challenges.
They can really brighten someone's day and bring a sense of calm and comfort.
And then there are search and rescue dogs.
The dogs that work tirelessly after disasters, searching for survivors, truly remarkable.
And here's one that might surprise you. Some dogs can actually detect certain types of cancer using their sense of smell.
Wait, what? Dogs as cancer detectors? How does that even work?
It's still being studied, but it seems that certain types of cancer release specific odors that dogs can pick up on.
So they can literally smell cancer.
It sounds crazy, but it's true. Studies have shown that dogs can be trained to identify cancer cells in breath samples, urine, even blood.
That's incredible. It's like they have a superpower. Imagine the potential for early detection and treatment.
It's a game changer, and it's just one example of how dogs are helping us in ways we never imagined.
It really shows the depth of their abilities and the power of that human-animal bond.
It makes you wonder what other amazing things dogs are capable of.
Now, with all this talk about their amazing abilities, I have to ask, what's going on inside their heads? Do dogs dream?
It's a fascinating question, and while we can't ask them directly, we can look at their brain activity during sleep.
And what does their brain activity tell us?
Well, it looks very similar to the brain activity of humans when we dream.
So you're saying they probably do dream?
It seems likely. And researchers believe that their dreams probably involve familiar activities and people.
Like chasing squirrels, playing fetch cuddling with their owners.
Exactly. It's a nice thought, isn't it? Our furry friends often dreamland, reliving their favorite moments.
Definitely makes me smile. Speaking of things that go into their mouths, what about nutrition? What's the best way to make sure our dogs are getting what they need to thrive?
Well, it's important to remember that dogs have different dietary needs than humans.
So what we eat isn't necessarily good for them.
Exactly. Their bodies are designed to digest and utilize nutrients differently.
So should we be cooking special meals for our dogs?
It's definitely an option, but there are also many high-quality commercial dog foods available.
So what should we be looking for when choosing a dog food?
The most important thing is to look for a food that is made with whole ingredients and avoids artificial additives and fillers.
Okay, so read those labels carefully.
Exactly. And it's always a good idea to talk to your veterinarian. They can help you choose a food that's right for your dog's age, breed, and activity level.
And avoid those table scraps no matter how much they beg.
Right. Some human foods can be toxic to dogs.
Okay, one last thing before we wrap up. It's important to remember that not all cultures view dogs in the same way.
That's a really important point. Our perspective on dogs is shaped by our own culture and experiences.
So in some cultures, dogs might be seen primarily as working animals or guardians.
While in other cultures, they're treated like beloved members of the family.
It's a good reminder to be respectful of those differences and to learn about how dogs are viewed in other parts of the world.
Absolutely. It broadens our understanding and appreciation for the diverse roles dogs play in human societies.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from their ancient origins to their amazing abilities to the mysteries of their minds.
It's been quite a journey through the world of dogs.
And it's clear that our relationship with dogs is a special one. It's been evolving for thousands of years, and there's still so much more to discover.
As we continue to learn about their senses, their intelligence, and their emotions, who knows what incredible things we'll find out.
It makes you wonder how our understanding of dogs will continue to change in the future, and how those changes will impact our bond with them.
Will we be able to tap into even more of their potential? Will we develop even deeper connections with them?
It's exciting to think about the possibilities. So to all the dog lovers out there, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep celebrating the amazing creatures that enrich our lives in so many ways.
And never underestimate the power of a wet nose and a wagging tail.
That's right. And don't forget, you can find links to all the sources we mentioned in the show notes. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the wonderful world of dogs.
Woof, woof, woof.